good to be on your screens today. And a big wave to everybody who I've not seen before. It's an absolute pleasure to meet you, well, virtually meet you. And it's so good to see some familiar faces as well. We have had an amazing week. I was asked a little while ago if I'd like to be part of this as part of my job as writer in residence for Sheffield Libraries. And my main job is to write books. I'm an author. I've written 5 books, and one of them is for children. I've written loads of short stories and one things for them. But the side of this career that I really love is being involved with other people and seeing what they think about things and seeing what they feel about things. And when I was asked to do this, I absolutely jumped at the chance because I thought it sounded amazing. Sheffield's volunteer libraries usually have an actual physical readathon every year, which they've not been able to do this year because of lockdown and all the kind of things that come with that. So without further ado, I'm going to read you my version. And what we've been doing, we've been thinking about what the place we live would be like if it was a character, if they were a person or an animal, because I think places have souls. I think places have personalities as well. And I wrote this poem about what I thought, you know, my growing up was about to me, and what that place would look like if there were a person. And to me, it is Mrs. City. So this is Mrs. City. Your hair is green like the fields I played in when I was small. And even though you're massive and your voice can sound like thunder, I was never scared of you, not at all. Your shoulders are 2 mighty hills, and your legs are 2 canals that make it safe for boats and ducks. You're so big, you could hold me in your hands. And those hands, they're as big as ponds you'd find in the countryside. And whenever I was there with you, there's nowhere I could hide. Not that I want to, because you're old and huge and bony. You're like a superhero with a cape. And I know you're always watching. You protect us, keep us safe. You wear a thick, steel-zipped warm jacket to keep you cozy when it's cold, that keeps the rain off when it's wet outside. Well, that's what I've been told. Sometimes you whisper like the softest wind or snow when things get bleak. And I can hear you whispering softly, counting sheep. 1, 2, 3, when it's time to sleep. Mrs. City, you're lovely. You're old and sweet and kind, and sometimes you get grumpy and make it rain, but that's okay because I find my way to get myself back home when it's late down at Mearsbrook Park. You make sure you light the street lamps up so we don't get lost when it gets dark. And when we're all tucked up, the night all around us in our beds, I know you're watching each and all of us, pushing the sweetest dreams inside our heads. You're magic. You're steely, you're brave, you're kind. You're here for all of us. But best of all, you're mine. And I said before, you're going to have your socks knocked off. Make sure they are tightly on because I'm going to welcome our first reader to this stage who has been amazing. What's going to happen before I do, a couple of people have got more than one poem to read. So we're going to be going back and forth and we're going to be mixing up a little bit. But for the first poem that we're going to hear, I'm going to welcome to the stage a man with the, are we doing the pirates?
The pirate code. Pirates are mean. Inside they are very keen. Ragged clothes they wear and look for treasure everywhere. They crave for hot tea, exploring the mighty sea.
What an amazing start. How good was that, everybody? If you thought that was amazing, I want 2 thumbs up. That was so brilliant, Ariman. Well done and beautifully read. And next, I'm going to welcome to the stage the magnificent, the wonderful, the wondrous Anya.
When I look out of my window, I can see. When I look out of my shiny glass window, I can see the ancient tree giving shelter to the lush green grass having a white lace of powdery snow. A very tall-looking snowman watches me curiously every day, wondering how I'm going to decorate him with even more with lots of dark brown buttons or maybe a toasty warm hat. While the crystalline ice slowly melts into chilly water, the crispy leaves steadily sway side by side, falling onto the soft snow. A jolly-looking robin darts from branch to branch, looking for a dry place to eat the glistening berries of the spiky holly. As the magical snowflakes fell from the blue wintry sky, the impatient pigeons soar across the cloudless airspace around in tons of large circles going bonkers.
What an amazing second poem. That was incredible. You read that beautifully as well. I love the snowman wondering what you are going to decorate him with. That was amazing. Next, I want to welcome up to the microphone the brilliant Lauren.
Hello and thank you. So yes, as I mentioned earlier, I myself had a go at Nick's poetry writing session. So this is based on my place that I live, and it's called Grandad Grenaside. As a young small lad, you started life with muddy fields for knees. How you've grown and you've shown you are as sturdy as the trees. A skilled young man, you worked your way above a city built on knives, making files and nails, those small details, assisting industrial lives. Older now, with patchy hair and eyes of watery pools, standing proud upon your mound, you have put down your tools. And now you watch your growing friend, a city full of culture and art, with silent pride, Grandad Grenaside, I promise to keep you in my heart.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful poem. I want to give him a cuddle. He sounds lovely. That was amazing. Thank you so much. And next, we're going to welcome Olivia.
For my first poem, it's called My Name Is. My name is Crafty Bibby. My name is Scooty Scoots. My name is Chocolate Rabbit. My name is Love the Worms. My name is See the Sea. My name is Liv the Baker. Won't you come round to my house for tea?
Oh, I love that. So many different things we can take from a name. What a brilliant reading, Olivia. Let's bring up our special guest, Jodie. Welcome.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you perfectly.
Hello, thank you so much for having me, everybody. And can I just say how lovely all of your poems are? They're really, I love them. They're so good. Anyway, my name is Jodie Elizabeth Adams, and I am a first-time author. And I decided to write a poetry book in the first lockdown, which was it around March time? So this is my book. It's a lovely poetry book called The Caring, Sharing, Sensational, Inspirational, Extraordinary Book of Passionate Poetry for Spectacular Children. And I'd love to read you a poem right now. Okay, so this one is called Rainbows Equals Hope, and it's so beautiful. Rainbows equals hope. Look at our rainbows in the window. We want to raise your spirits as you walk by. I know there's a lot of sadness. We hope the rainbows make you smile and you forget all about the madness. We will get through this difficult time. Please stay safe and try not to worry. Once the storm disappears, we will be able to venture outside and it will be divine. Please stay at home.
What a brilliant start. And rainbows, you just reminded me of something. All right, I might do something else. I might dig out a story about a multicoloured sheep if you would like to hear that. Next up, I am delighted to bring up the brilliant Amber.
My poem is called My Friend Sheffield. So my friend Sheffield is always there for me. She's loyal and comforting, just as home should be. Even when I visit Leeds, she waits patiently till I've returned. No other city is quite as good, that is what I've learnt. Sheffield knows herself well and has a glowing personality. When the sun shines, her green dress glitters like the sea. Her music taste is second to none, and she has a style that other cities lack. I promise, my lovely Sheffield, I will always come back.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful love letter to a lovely city. That was brilliant. Thank you so much. And who is going to follow Amber? We are going to bring in the marvellous Lucy. Hello, Lucy and Pooh Bear.
Okay, so my poem is called Mr. Sheffield. Mr. Sheffield, I love your beautiful green grass. The way your sky has a beautiful feeling, I love it. I love your fluffy, quite white clouds saying hello to me every morning. I hear you every night counting sheep. 1, 2, 3, 4 sheep. 5, 6, 7, 8 sheep, you would say. When I'm asleep, you always seem to be so quiet. You always seem you want to meet Miss London. If an alien came to meet you, I would show him everything of you. I promise to not drop litter in your water.
Perfect. I love that. And I love the fact that Sheffield is quiet so we can all get a good night's sleep. It's a considerate city, is Sheffield. Let's bring our man back on for his second poem of the afternoon.
My next poem is called Being in Space.
Ooh.
Outside the space station are twinkling stars and ablaze asteroids. Inside the space station are brilliant laboratories and personal sleeping cabins. On my body is a bulky spacesuit and a protective helmet.
I love that. I could see exactly what that was like up there in space. That was brilliant. I wish I was there. I was going there after this. It sounds really, really exciting. What a perfect poem of description. Now let's bring Anya back on for her second poem. Welcome, Anya.
My next poem is called Mrs. Sheffield. Mrs. Sheffield, your lush green grassy hair is always swaying side to side as if they're doing a dance. Your detailed shirt full of houses with miniature itty-bitty people throwing plastic at you. Not all of us, obviously. Your sparkly purple steel hat is always on the go as the lights are always turning on and off. Your cloudy eyes, which cry with rain, go pitter-patter when you're sad. And your very own star, the sun, shines bright when you're happy. You're always in touch with your friends, Lord London, Musical Wales, and Competent Scotland, and you have a blast with them. I promise you will always be happy, joyful, and helpful.
I love it. I love it so much. I really like the start, and I like Competent Scotland. Sounds terrific. I thought that was brilliant. Lauren, do you have a second poem? I didn't make a note. I believe you do.
I do indeed, yes. I'm just doing all the technical things at the same time, so give me a second. But this next one, I can't take all of the credit for this one, as this has been created with some children and young people a couple of years ago and is part of Chol's children's storybook called Metropolis, Professor Abdullah's Metropolis and Other Imaginary Communities. So I'm going to read you the title story from this book. So, Professor Abdullah's Metropolis. Once upon a time ago, in another worldly plane, there ventured a clever professor who had a talented brain. He created single-handedly a city of great delight, with buildings, creatures, cars and shops of metal shining bright. Professor Abdullah worked day and night, and every day and night. He looked at every small detail to make it fit just right. Some years later, with one last twist, he wound the final screw. His work complete, he stopped to think and knew just what to do. He encountered a genie living life in a world made out of fire and asked him very kindly, "Pretty please grant my heart's desire." The genie nodded, took a breath and screwed his eyes up tight. "All done, my friend, your shining town will come to life tonight." Bit by bit and piece by piece, the city sprang to life. But everyone had cold steel hearts and arguments were rife. It started with a mechanical man who Abdullah had built in haste, powered by a battery source composed of toxic waste. It came to life. The battery failed. It immediately decompressed, and things took an unlikely turn. The robot became obsessed with gleaming gems and sparkling stones and anything with bling. And then, and this is really strange, he started to steal earrings. A passing witch who saw her chance swooped in to take control. She cast a spell on this metal world deep from her heart of coal. From that day on, her power grew. She ruled with an iron fist and wrapped a pair of metal pants around those that who would resist. A resistance army soon rose up, led by the local giant. He rallied many upset folk who had all become defiant. This undercover rebel gang met secretly by night at Nuts and Bolt, the local calf, over many a large flat white. They met the professor, hatched a plan, a brand new strategy that started with the metal man and a rechargeable battery. One by one, they fixed the woes of metal Metropolis, and now the people celebrate with a funky robot dance. But as for the witch, well, you can hear her curse from her life in metal pants. Thank you very much.
I love it. I love that it's a whole story in rhyme and in such a really nice bite-sized chunk. I love that. I really, really, really like that a lot. How to follow that? Well, by somebody who is equally brilliant. Let's bring up Olivia. And what is the title of this one, Olivia?
Captain City.
Captain City. We welcome you, Captain City.
You're the sea and land, you sparkle in the sand, you light our way, we all say hooray. You are green and I will keep you clean, I promise not to litter on your glittery green grass.
I love it. And I like how everybody's trying to protect and keep Mr. or Mrs. or Captain City or Sheffield clean and free of litter. That is a good way to go, because it's good to look after good things, because then they will look after us as well. Now let's bring up Jodie back. And I think as we've got a special guest, it would be a little bit mean if we didn't let her read a couple of her poems from her brand new book. So could you do us maybe 3 poems?
Oh, yeah. Hi. Yes, of course I can.
That would be marvellous.
Oh, you want to see the pictures too?
We would love to see the pictures.
Beautifully illustrated.
Oh, they are gorgeous.
So this poem is called Bubbles. Bubbles, bubbles everywhere, popping on the floor and popping in my hair. Bubbles are so much fun, floating around in the sky. Bubbles are great fun for everyone. Bubbles, bubbles everywhere, popping on the floor and popping in my hair.
Hands up if you like bubbles. I love bubbles too.
I love bubbles. Oh, this is a longer one. Look how gorgeous this one is, guys. It's called Deep in the Jungle.
Oh, we like that.
Thank you. Dragonflies hovering like helicopters. Elephants are so majestic, so caring, taking care of their young. Energetic monkeys playing in the trees. Parrots add splashes of colour to the skies. incredible panthers hunting in the night, nesting toucan birds laying their eggs, tigers relaxing in the sunshine, hooting owls in the night, entertaining dances performed by the birds of paradise, jaguars chasing their prey, unusual see-through glass frogs, numerous noises from insects, gorillas living together in small groups, leopards swimming in the rivers, extraordinary reptiles searching for food.
Okay, Olivia's just said that she loves it. I was just about to say, put your hands up if you love what Jodie is reading to you. I love it.
Thank you, lovelies.
So good. Can we get one more, please?
Yeah, of course you can. This one's a short one. And this one makes me laugh a little bit.
Good, good, good.
It's called The Dog Catcher. Can you see it, Ora?
We can.
Okay. The Dog Catcher. Watch out for the dog catcher. You never know when he's going to snatch you. Please do not roam. Just go on home. Don't let the dog catcher grab you.
It reminds me of me trying to herd cats.
I've got 4 with me right now.
Okay. Oh my goodness. There's 2 we have in there. They have minds of their own. But that was so good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Lucy, let's have you back for your second. And what's this one called?
This is called Miss London. It has a picture of the gherkin on it.
Oh, can we see? That is a brilliant picture. You know, you, when you're a little bit older, could illustrate your books as well as write them, couldn't you? Maybe that's something you can do after this.
Miss London. I went to London. London is an amazing place. Has an amazing hotel. I love looking at the huge gherkin.
Oh, I love it. I love the gherkin as well. And the shard and all the places. Now, this is a story that I wrote years and years ago, and I've never done anything with it, so hardly anybody has ever heard it, ever. Let's see if I can remember it. Edwin was a sheep, a white sheep with spindly legs and a fluffy coat that looked a little like a cloud. He was a normal sheep in all but one way. Edwin hated eating grass. He wandered to the corner of the field where some bushes grew. There were raspberries growing on the bushes, and Edwin decided to try one instead. The raspberry was very tasty and a little bit zingy. This is tastier than grass, he thought. In fact, he liked the taste of the raspberry so much he ate some more, and as he did, something odd started to happen. His fluffy white coat began to change. It wasn't fluffy and white anymore. It had turned a curious shade of pink. And the more raspberries Edwin ate, the deeper the colour grew. When Edwin was all full up, his coat was as red as a raspberry. By the time he returned to the flock, most of the colour had faded, with only the tips of his toes still raspberry red. Later, Edwin set off in a different direction and soon arrived at a blueberry bush. The blueberries tasted sweet, but little by little, with each blueberry he ate, Edwin turned a deeper shade of blue, until eventually his whole body was as blue as the blueberries he'd eaten. A blueberry blue sheep with raspberry red toes. What a sight. Next, Edwin returned to the flocks, and his coat was white again, but his ears were still blueberry blue and his toes were still red as raspberries. When Edwin came a box of bananas the farmer's wife had left out by the picnic bench, he peeled one and ate one, and another, and soon his whole body, his fluffy white coat, was as yellow as the bananas from the crate. These taste great, he said. When he returned to the flock, his coat had faded as it usually did. But Edwin didn't look quite the same as the other sheep. His nose was a wonderful shade of yellow. His ears were blueberry and his toes were red as raspberries. Bah, said one sheep to the other, which sounded like, have you seen Edwin? He looks different. The other sheep agreed. She said, "You're right, look at his ears, his toes." The two sheep approached Edwin. "What happened?" they said. Edwin licked his lips and he told them. And the sheep nodded, and soon the whole flock had heard about the wonderful new food Edwin had tried, and they set out across the field to discover them for themselves. The sheep ate all sorts of things. Some ate blueberries, some ate blackberries, some ate strawberries, some ate raspberries, some ate oranges, some ate apples, some ate bananas, and some ate plums. Some ate cabbage, some ate carrots, some ate aubergines, some ate turnips. They only started eating when they'd filled up their tums. What a shock they got when they returned to the flock. There were pink sheep, purple sheep, red sheep, blue sheep, spotted sheep, dotted sheep, striped sheep, and bright sheep. One sheep had lemon eyes. There were 2 sheep with cherry sides, 3 sheep with orange hair, and a chocolate sheep who looked like a bear. But one sheep was terribly different to the rest. He had a bit of everything. Edwin had a pineapple tummy, a banana yellow nose, 2 blueberry ears, and 3 raspberry toes. "Hurrah!" cried the flock. "We're multicoloured sheep." And they admired each other's colours until they all fell asleep. So there you go. Thank you for reminding me of that. I haven't read that in a long, long time. Now, the final poem of the show goes to Ariman. Are you there?
If you came to Sheffield, I would show you the botanical gardens to see the marvellous flowers. I would take you to Encliffe Park to visit the Me Amigo Memorial. I would also show you around the Western Park Museum to learn about the history of wild animals. If it is snowing, I would take you toboganning in the parks as you can plunge down the steepy slope at unbelievable speeds.